Okay, great. That was the thumbnail. What's up, guys? It's your girl Nora, and I am here to present to you guys Nora's narrative. So, I'm going to talk about where this podcast originated from and what made me, venture out to YouTube. Okay, so, of course, my supporters that, of course, y'all already know why I started, where I got the name from, because those are both actually two different episodes that is actually on my podcast. Speaking of that, my podcast is on all platforms. So, y'all definitely go and check it out so you all just kind of know how, just the content, just the gist of it, like, what do I say, like, how do I go about it, just, all the little details. But I am going to start on why I self-entitled my podcast. So it was one time that I told someone, or I think a friend of a friend told someone, the name of my podcast or whatnot. And, it was kind of taken lightly, and it bothered me, of course. But, of course, in the end, it was before I was about to actually get into making an episode. But, I didn't let that bother me. So, I was just like, what? I actually do need to reflect and actually understand why did I self-entitled my podcast? Like, it's called Nora's Narrative, because it is not all about me either. So, here's the reason, because I actually had to really go all the way back to, like, okay, why I started and where did I actually get the name from, because I really didn't know. So I thought about it and I reflected and I said, what, based on how I even came about starting the podcast and why I decided to stick with it and how it became a hobby of mine, I was going through a lot of stuff. I was really going through a lot, and I got kicked out. And that is also, I believe, it's not about me getting kicked out, but that's a part of an episode on my podcast as well. But, I got kicked out, and I was staying with a friend, and that didn't go great at the end. But I was going through a lot. I didn't have a car. I did have a job. However, shortly after me starting my podcast, I think maybe 2 months afterwards, I got laid off. So I was going through just different obstacles that was, it was against me. And of course, I do have a 2-year-old daughter. So, just me really trying to get through these obstacles and trying to just make a way, because I can't just think about me. I have a little one, so that was a lot. So that is it's not how I started my podcast. I was already interested in it, and I don't know, it's like I was just like, I didn't know what kind of content I was gonna have. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I was like, I like to talk, but I don't know what I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And then I was like, well, what if, like, no one really listens to me? Like, what if? So actually, secretly, I actually had I named, y'all already know how Snap works, on Snapchat, you have a private story, and I actually named it Nora's Narrative. So some people may know that I had, just a whole private story called Nora's Narrative, and I was trying to, like, get used to just talking, just to an audience of maybe 2 or 3 people, because I was really gossiping. I'm gonna let y'all know, I was gossiping on there, and, I decided that I didn't really want it to be, I didn't want it to be gossip. Like, I actually wanted my audience, or people who were listening to me, I actually wanted substance, like, where people can actually learn from, different obstacles that I'm going through or facing. That does not mean that there are other people out there who are going through the same thing, just a different situation, different layout. So I was just like, no, I'm gonna name it Nora's Narrative. However, I actually want my content to actually be valuable, right? So I started. It was scary. I'm not gonna lie. The very first episode, it was scary, but I executed the episode. It's an amazing episode, and it really shows just why I started and just what I was going through. And yeah, like I said before, the podcast really became a hobby of mine. I just love doing it. I do. I love doing it. So, after a couple of months, I started thinking of, and I was probably July, August. And that's when I started thinking of venturing out and getting on YouTube. But as far as the name, right? Nora's Narrative. So, like I said, I went through a lot of stuff, a lot of just trials and tribulations. And when you go through issues and obstacles and hurdles, and your back is against the wall, and you really don't know how you're going to get out, right? You don't know how you're gonna make it at this point. You have people calling you bill collectors. You don't have the money. You don't even have the job. You don't know what's about to happen at all. You don't know you can't tell the future, so you really don't know. And you just know that you have to fight, and you got to do something, right? So, going through that, I named that controlling your narrative, owning the narrative, manifesting what you want to get done. And, of course, I learned that through mentorships that, manifesting is a thing. And now that's also an episode, but manifesting is a thing. And I had to learn that I had to, of course, give myself the whole little pep talk and actually believe in myself and know that, God is on my side. And that there's nothing, life is going to tell you that, no, there's no way you can get through this. There's no way you're going to be able to pay that bill. There's no way that you're going to be able to stay in the apartment that you're at. You're about to get evicted. The court has already, they've already plastered a piece of paper on your door. You're about to get evicted. Right? But I manifested. I said, no, it's going to, I'm going to be okay. And, that's a whole nother topic, another story for another day. However, manifestation is key, and owning your narrative is big. You have to take ownership of the direction of where your life is going. It's all up to you. Decision making, it's all up to you. And of course, it's self-entitled Nora's Narrative. However, I'm sharing content and stories of my life because I know that I'm not the only person going through obstacles like this, especially in my mid-20s. I'm not the only person going through stuff like this. And there are going to be people out there who really need encouragement. They need to know that they're not the only ones that are going through whatever they're going through. And that is why at the beginning, that's why I started my podcast. And it was so crazy. I started in a bathroom, right? I always light a candle. You see my candle right there. I always light a candle. I don't know. I didn't have a candle. I had my diffuser. So at the time, I had my diffuser, and I love candles though. But yeah, that's something else. I had my diffuser, and I turned the lights off, and I had the little light going on, like a little lamp type light, in a big old bathroom. Mind you, I'm staying at an old friend's house, and everybody's asleep, or everyone has gone to bed. No one's up, and I was able to just focus and think about what I'm going to talk about. I'm a writer, so I write all of my notes out, and that's how it just, I don't know, that's how it came to be. And yeah, so I wanted to let you guys know about what I'm going to be talking about. And yeah, so of course, like I always say, look below, subscribe, comment. Definitely go and check out my episodes that are already posted. However, I'm still going to figure out a way to get all of the old episodes on the YouTube channel. However, I haven't figured that out. So that's a little waiting game. But I am going to see if I can get different interviews that I've conducted through my podcast on here, or it's like videos. It's, video oriented. And I'm gonna see if I can get that on here. But the content is gonna start. It's gonna start back up next weekend. I post on Sundays, and usually I post 12 a.m. So Saturday night type thing. So like 12 a.m. I'll be posting on. So on Sunday it'll be there. So it'll be Sundays, and I'm open to any comments, suggestions, because at the end of the day, I'm a person who likes to really just make things better. I like to improve. So any improvement, any topic suggestions too. And you guys are able to reach out to me. My personal IG is Nora Andriel, Nora another A Ndriel, and Nora's Narrative also has an IG, NORAS_narrative. Okay, so definitely reach out. Let me know. Just hey, maybe you have a topic that maybe you have something you're going through, and maybe you just want me to talk about it or elaborate on it, or maybe you want me to have a whole panel. I've done that too. I have done that, or I've tried to do that panel. But yeah, So just let me know, guys, and I will talk to you guys next week.